We're in the brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, courtesy of Younger Mitsubishi in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we are in this one today because the 2025 Outlander has been refreshed both outside and inside for 2025. You do get America's best warranty as well, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. And actually, if you were to buy one from Younger Mitsubishi, they actually double that powertrain warranty in case you were interested there. And this is a 3-row SUV from Mitsubishi, and it's Mitsubishi's best-selling vehicle as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. As always, let's start with pricing. And so, as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 Outlander. First one being the ES, starting at $31,140. Got the SE for $33,890. SEL, which is the one we are in today, starting at $38,490. And lastly, the Platinum Edition, going for $44,640. And so that last trim level, that's a new trim level for 2025, by the way. And actually, all-wheel drive does come standard on the Platinum Edition. All the other trims come standard with front-wheel drive. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that simply at $1,800 then to any of those first 3 trim levels. But regardless of the trim that you go with, the power plant on the Outlander is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2.5-liter direct injected inline 4-cylinder, putting out 181 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 181 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 3,600 RPM. That power being sent to front wheels or all wheels through a CVT with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. As far as the 0 to 60 goes, it comes in at approximately 8.2 seconds. MPG numbers coming in at 24 in the city, 31 on the highway for the front-wheel drive, 24 city, 30 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive. Either way, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun acceleration test or paddle shifter test here in the Outlander, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's actually a circular dial. It's a redesigned circular dial for 2025, located directly behind the redesigned shifter as well. But drive modes will include Eco, Normal, Tarmac, Gravel, Snow, and Mud. And those drive modes will adjust things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the traction control settings actually as well. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the paddle shifters in acceleration here to the test. I want to see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, here's our straightaway, pulling out onto the road, go. It's not bad. Yeah, 0 to 16, 8.2. That is, it's an average number, but it's plenty to merge you out to any highway here in the US. I'll just put it that way. But it definitely, you can tell it's a CVT, that's for sure. It didn't feel like it was simulating an automatic or anything like that. Not a bad thing. It's just it feels like a CVT, and that's plenty of an acceleration. But you know what I did do there? I did do the paddle shifter test. So let's go ahead and find one more straightaway, and let me go ahead and actually get full control. There actually is the full manual shift mode. What you do is just slide the shifter back and to the right, and that is going to display what gear, or what simulated gear I should say, I am in up on the digital gauges here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that one more time, and let's see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us here. All right, here we go. Let's try this one more time. Yow! It kind of wants to feel like it's an automatic there. It's kind of cool. And it is a full manual shift mode, by the way. Like, if you don't shift, it's going to hang out right at 6,000 RPM and not go anywhere. So it's kind of interesting. But anyways, paddle shifters are plenty fine. You can definitely still tell it's a CVT, of course. But let me go ahead and give back now full control to the Outlander. Just slide the shifter back one more time. And to go along with that acceleration, of course, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13-inch ventilated rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at an extremely impressive 115 feet. That's a sports sedan number, which is amazing. As far as braking feel goes, it's great. Yeah, that feels like 115 feet. That is brilliant. So typically with 3-row SUVs, you typically find the upper 120s, if not the 130s. So 115 feet, that's something that you find in like an Audi sports sedan. So that is 100% a brilliant number. Love the braking on the Outlander. But now let's go ahead and touch on the suspension and handling, because this has been retuned for the 2025 Outlander actually. So up front, you're going to get independent strut type front suspension, In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, it has been 100% perfectly fine on my short little test drive here today. And like I said, according to Mitsubishi at least, the suspension has been retuned specifically to make it a smoother ride for the 2025 model year. So did want to mention that. Yeah, as far as the ride quality goes, we're on the smoothest road in Hagerstown, I think, right now. So that has been perfectly fine. As far as steering feel goes, it's brilliant, man. It's not a loose steering feel like you traditionally find on three-row SUVs, so it does have a little bit of emotion, a little bit of play to it, but it's not as heavy as like a Mazda CX-90 or something like that, or a CX-70, but it does a pretty darn good job. So I actually like the steering feel here. As far as cabin noise goes, again, Mitsubishi claims there's additional sound deadening for 2025. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I'm going 50 miles per hour right now on the highway, so it's honestly, it feels perfectly fine to me. Definitely nothing that would bother me there. Touching on rear visibility, because of the shape of this one, you definitely should not have any issues whatsoever with that. I'm looking out my rear view mirror, I can see perfectly fine there. Did want to also mention though, in terms of visibility, there is a head-up display available for this one. We don't have it with us here today, but if you wanted it, it's going to display your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield, so you can better help keep your eyes on the road there too. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and get to the best part, the redesigned exterior for the new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, finished in Labrador Black Pearl, in case you were curious of our exact exterior color name. But a nice refresh going on for the 2025 model year. But before I get ahead of myself, let's go ahead and start with where the Outlander is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter J, indicating that the Outlander is still built and assembled in Japan, as it should be. I love that. JDM SUV. But starting up front, I do not see that Outlander lettering found on the front portion of the hood anymore. That may be one change there. To the sides, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights will come standard for all trim levels. Get the automatic feature with that as well, so when it starts to get dark out, headlights will turn on automatically for you there. LED fog lights for the SE trim level and up. You guys can see those just below the headlights up front there. And of course, you got those chrome surrounds, kind of emphasizing the headlights, I guess you could say. Got a couple of chrome accents on the front grille, and speaking of, let me get up a little bit closer because the front grille is new or redesigned or refreshed, whatever you want to call it, for 2025. Previously, there was like little bubbles, like little oval designs within that front grille. Now it is pretty much all just gloss black with a couple silver accents. So that is definitely one thing that has changed, and you guys can see that adaptive cruise control sensor just below the Mitsubishi logo as well. So I did want to mention that. You have some aluminum accents or some gray accents found in the bottom portion of that front bumper then as well, but still definitely looks good to me. But that pretty much rounds out the front end. So now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so swinging around to the side, this is probably the easiest way to tell between a 2025 and a 2024. So I'll get to that in a second, but starting up top, silver roof rails for the SEL trim level and up. That's what you guys are looking at, of course. Got silver beltline molding as well. You got a floating roof line on the C-pillar back there. Gloss black A-pillar in typical Outlander fashion there. Rear privacy glass does come standard for all trim levels across the board. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals though if you go with the SE trim level and up. But again, the easiest way to tell the difference between a 2025 and a 2024 is that wheel design. It's so different. It's unlike anything else that I've seen on the road, but 18-inch alloys for the ES trim level, and then the redesigned 20-inch aluminum alloys for the SE trim level and up. I think they look good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but now let's go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so the changes continue on to the back. Starting up top, you got that body-colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper, of course. SAWC, in case you were curious what that badging actually means. It means super all-wheel control. This is actually a four-wheel drive system that was originally built for rally racing on the dirt and the snow. So to say that this thing is capable on the dirt and the snow is kind of an understatement. It was made to race on the dirt and the snow. So it's a rally-inspired four-wheel drive system, so that is pretty darn cool. Now the taillights, they've been refreshed for 2025 as well. Previously they were all just a flat red. Now they kind of have a smoked look to them, which I think actually looks brilliant on this black exterior. It definitely goes well together there. And in case you wander onto a Mitsubishi lot on a Sunday, there is trim level badging found in the rear liftgate there. You guys can see that. So you always know what trim level you're looking at. You got more of that kind of gunmetal accent that you found up front that's going to be carried on to the lower lower portion of the rear bumper as well. And then just below it all, there's a single exhaust outlet tucked away underneath on the driver's side there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. But so now, since we are around to the back of the Outlander still, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is actually a power lift gate for all trim levels across the board. So you gotta love that. There's actually a button on the key fob and of course a rubberized button on the lift gate itself as well. But then if you were to go with the SEL trim level and up, you're gonna get a hands-free power lift gate. So that of course is even better. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 11.7 cubic feet behind that third row. Of course, the third row does fold down. That's going to bump that up to 33.5 cubic feet. And then with all rows folded, 79.7 cubic feet. So that's definitely a good bit of space there. Got cargo lighting back there. Of course, there's a 12-volt power outlet. There is a cargo cover. There's a couple grocery bag hooks. I always love seeing those. Got some tie-down anchors back there. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find some in-floor storage, which of course you could store the third row headrest back there if the third row was not in use. So that's what we're doing here apparently. But so that's probably why Mitsubishi put that there. But now let's go ahead and make our way up to the third row legroom. That is going to come in at 28.7 inches. Not a ton of space on paper. For reference, I'll give this a shot. I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there. There are cup holders for the third row, I will say that, but honestly, third row is best left for small children and probably definitely not adults, unfortunately. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our way up to the second row legroom. That is a lot better, 39.9 inches. For reference, I'm still an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the second row there. USB charging ports for the SE trim level and up. You got 2 of those. Tri-zone climate control for the SEL trim level and up, so the rear passengers can set their own temperature as well. Got heated rear seats for the SEL trim level and up. Rear window sunshades are going to be available. We happen to have that with us here today, so that is pretty darn cool. And in case you were curious about the configuration for that second row, it is going to be 7 passenger seating across the board. So you got obviously 2 up front, 2 seats in the third row, and then 3 in the middle. This is just a bench seating for that second row. There's no captain's chairs. Upper and lower seat map pockets as well. That's something that the Outlander has done for a few years now. I think it's pretty darn cool. So you got like a little pocket for your cell phone at top, maybe a tablet pocket up top, and then your traditional map pockets down below. So always liked how they did that. But now let's go ahead and make our way up to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seats for the ES trim level. The SE is going to add to that leatherette surfaces and heated front seats. SEL is going to add to that power adjustable front seats with power lumbar, I will say, and that was pretty darn cool. And quilted leather seats as well. And the quilted leather is actually a different design for this year. Previously, it was a little bit different diamond pattern, so I know it's not a huge deal, but I did want to mention it. As far as seat comfort goes, it was plenty comfortable for me in my short little test drive here today, so definitely didn't have any issues there, so I was a fan. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leather wrapped for the SE trim level and up. Heated steering wheel is going to be optional. We do have that option with us here today, so I'm a big fan of that. 10 and 2 grips, definitely bolstered on the thicker side of things as well. So steering wheel was definitely done just right for the Outlander. But now let's go ahead and check out the gauges here. What you were looking at is a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster, and it is pretty darn good, and it's slightly different from last year. So the colors are a little bit different. Got more of these taupe style colors, I guess you could say. But either way, you still have the coolest part of the gauges, which is if you press the 3 little lines on the left-hand side of the steering wheel and go to change meter view, that's going to completely change the look of the gauges, and it's a cool little transition kind of display too when you go and do that. And you do have the 2025 Outlander displayed up there. You can tell by the wheels. So I thought that was pretty unique as well. So they definitely changed up the gauges a little bit, but it is pretty cool that you can completely change the look of the digital gauge cluster. That's the beauty of digital gauges. But of course it has everything you want up there. It has your outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, trip A, trip B, the time of the day, that kind of stuff. So gauges are definitely done perfectly fine there. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the overall interior quality of the Outlander here. Panoramic sunroof is going to be available. I love that we have that with us here today. You got an overhead sunglass holder, which I feel like is higher quality this year, actually. That feels very nice. Auto dimming rear view mirror for the SEL trim level and up, and we actually have HomeLink controls to up to 3 different garage doors found in the bottom of that frameless rearview mirror as well. Wireless phone charger for the SE trim level and up. That's located just in front of the shifter here. Again, tri-zone climate control for the SEL trim level and up. You got a rearranged center console for additional storage for 2025 as well. But the only thing is, last year I feel like there was some additional storage under the shifter, and you don't have that this year, so that's a little bit of a change there, but still plenty fine. To the right of the shifter, you got your dual cup holders, everything surrounded in a gloss black finish, which I'm always a fan of. Just behind the cup holders, you got an electromechanical parking brake, and within the center armrest here, there's plenty of storage in there. You got a USB charging port within there as well. And I always like how they bring this kind of diamond pattern stitching found on the seats onto the doors as well. They did that again this year, and I like all the silver button finishes. They could have left that like a matte black plastic. That would have made it look a lot cheaper, but they didn't. They put silver finishes there. So Mitsubishi actually did a really, really good job with the interior quality, as they always have with the Outlander. In recent years at least. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the tech now, because one of my favorite parts has to do with the tech of this new Outlander that changed. I'm looking at a 12.3 inch color touchscreen display that used to be either an 8 or a 9 inch color touchscreen display for 2024, but now they upped it to kind of match the gauge cluster size here. So that is pretty darn cool. This thing is a lot bigger than the 2024 model year, I'd definitely say that. So this is all new. Yeah, Bluetooth and audio streaming, of course, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, factory navigation system I got pulled up here as well. That's nice. You can check out your fuel prices, weather information, stock information down there. Looks like some restaurants as well if you wanted to. Of course, you got your radio information up there though as well. And so this is the part where I'm excited to test this out. There is a new Yamaha standard sound system across the board. So that is what we got with us here today, and I'm excited for it because last year they didn't have this. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. That is a ton of bass, you guys. Like, so much bass with this sound system. I think it's pretty cool that Yamaha makes sound systems. I think this is probably the first Yamaha sound system I've ever tested out, but you know what? They did a pretty darn good job. Keep making them, because yeah, clarity was plenty fine, ton of bass. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen though is when you do put the Outlander in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. You also have a 360-degree monitor for the SE trim level and up as well, giving you that bird's eye view, which completely lets you know what is completely all around you, which as always is going to lead us into safety. And so let me start with the best part. The Outlander is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest designation given by IIHS. That pretty much says it all right there. Got front side carrying airbags, of course, driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, forward collision mitigation system, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, lane change assist, reverse automatic braking. The SE trim level and up is going to add to that adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane departure prevention, and traffic sign recognition then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, a lot of really nice changes for the 2025 model year. And I'm not just talking about the design. I love this new infotainment screen. It is massive. I love the new Yamaha sound system as well. And there's plenty of nice interior changes overall too. So they did a wonderful job with the refresh here. Digital gauges are still absolutely phenomenal. You still get America's best warranty. That's a heck of a selling point right there. And again, with younger Mitsubishi, they even double that powertrain warranty. So that's pretty cool. Great styling as well. I think the only thing that I would change at this point would just be to add some ambient lighting. I think that's the only thing I would add to this one. And Mitsubishi, if you're watching, make a larger SUV for us Americans, because we like big SUVs. And this is a decent sized SUV, but it's not quite as big as like that Honda Pilot or the Toyota Highlander, let alone the Grand Highlander or Volkswagen Atlas or something like that. But I think a bigger SUV would do pretty darn good here in the US. So anyways, think about it. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media somewhere on the screen there. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we have been doing here for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all